What's up? How's it going? So I hope you're doing well. So today we'll be talking about how to live in Rio de Janeiro. I have made a few notes over here on my computer, and I will be giving you a little overview on what to expect and things that you need to be aware of if you ever need to decide to, have a little vacation time, or even if you want to come down to Rio de Janeiro, whether you just want to visit or whatnot, visit or live or visit. Without much further ado, I just want to give you a little background. I am about 35 years old. Yeah, whatever. And I lived here until I was roughly about 23, 24 years old. I lived outside in the United States for about 10, and I came back recently. So I do have a little bit of gringo mentality, and I also got the little street smart to actually help you out. So stay tuned, because we'll be covering quite a bit over here. So we'll talk about understanding real soul, moving beyond the postcards, because we all know that cities are not necessarily just postcards. They look beautiful and everything, but it's really not necessarily what you see on postcards. Safety first. Always. We do have a little safety problem going on, but we'll also get through that. Finding your spot, money matters, getting around, making friends and fitting in, the job hunt, because everybody necessarily, you live in a capitalistic society. You will need to work in paradise somehow, but there are ways out there, I promise. And we will cover also healthcare and bureaucracy. Cool. So on our first topic, understanding real souls beyond the postcards. The first talking point that I got over here is that Rio is more than just beaches, parties, and the Christ statue. Big Jesus, as many people in the United States like to call it. It is a city with plenty of contrasts that are beauty, struggle, joy, and challenge. You may see, depending of where you stay in the city, especially if you are downtown or let's say down by the more touristy areas, you may see a lot of financial inequality, class inequality, and you just gotta understand that people do struggle, but it's not a complete struggle. I take it as, at least by my own experience of having lived out there, is that we know how to live life more fully, and we know how to respect each other a little bit better somehow, even though financially speaking we are not the best ones, right? It is a developing country after all, and Rio is the second biggest city in Brazil. So just know that, again, we do have all of those big city problems, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, but we'll get there. It is a place with vibrant, loud, and passionate culture. You may expect directness, warmth, and a strong sense of community. Just know that as Brazilians, I can pretty much say this, that we are very, very blunt people. You may expect us to tell you things the way it is. We don't really sugarcoat things. So if you ever fuck up, you will most likely find out that you fucked up. If you are doing way too much, you'll most likely know that we are pretty direct people. We don't beat around the bush, but also you get to expect that we are also very loving. So it's a kind of a little mix in between, tough love, but you will get there. It is important to really embrace the chaos. You have to learn how to go with the flow, and you gotta shed rigid expectations, because Rio will change you. As I said, as people, we do learn how to live a complete different way. There's always a way to do something. There's always a way to fix things. There's always a workaround over here. You will understand that people, we always find a way to get something done. Okay, it does not matter whether it is too big or too small. We very usually do find a way to get things done in here, and you will also learn that. We do have the Carioca way, which is about living in a moment and finding happiness in the simple things, as I just said previously. We do find joy in the very small things, whether that may be just simply visiting family members, visiting friends, or even having a small event. Like I just had yesterday a small event at my friend's house that live right over here across from me, and he was able to manage to bring 10 people into his house on a Monday night, and everybody was drinking and having food and having plenty of fun, and it was great. Just to know that, you know, it's not really all about the money, the big things, but it's all about the experience. So you have plenty of experiences while you are in Rio. So let's get a little transitions for our next topic over here. You know, now that you're ready to embrace the energy and intensity of Rio, but before we dive deep at first into beaches and vibrant nightlife, we need to address something crucial that often gets romanticized or ignored: safety. Yes, so we will be talking about safety first always. There will need to be a little reality check for many of you guys out there, gringos. Yes, I'm talking to you, gringos, especially if you are from Europe, United States, any place where, you know, you got a little more fair skin. I am, as you can see right now, the most fair skin. I've only actually met one more person who is more fair skinned than me, like fully Brazilian. But yeah, I am like the fairest you can get in here. But I know for anybody that lives in the North Hemisphere, that is easily, you know, achievable. So let's talk about safety for you guys, just so you get to know. The first talking point is that yes, crime is a reality in Rio. It is not a fantasy land, but you should know that fear shouldn't paralyze you. You just gotta make sure that you have awareness. Ouch, I just bit my tongue. You just gotta have awareness, and you know, it's all about the basic things out there. Just know that people here will live in a much more simple way. So it is really important. For example, I wouldn't carry a whole lot of cash out there. If you do have, let's say, an iPhone, iPhones are a extremely high commodity here. See, an iPhone, they're extremely high commodity here. Don't be flashing jewelry. Don't be flashing anything that may be extremely expensive, especially in this area, especially when we talk about electronics. Don't be flashing money. Don't be boasting any of those things. Just try to go, if you ever need to go outside, you know, just, you know, use simple jewelry. Just try to look as much as you can as a hippie. Just kidding, not necessarily as a hippie, but just try to look as much as you can. Very simple. You don't need a whole lot, you know, just bring your wallet with just a few bucks. You never know if you're ever gonna need cash, so always bring a little bit of cash, not a whole lot of cash, but make sure that your credit cards are all taken care of. Sometimes, in my opinion, it is just much better to just carry your cell phone, but you never know. Just bring one credit card with you that has a low limit, that you know that if it gets stolen, you know, you're gonna be okay if that gets stolen. So that's pretty much the point. You just make sure that you bring out anything that you are gonna be okay losing from one moment to another. Okay, make sure you have common sense, because common sense, it is your best friend. As I just said, don't flash expensive items. Be mindful of your surroundings, especially at night. I like to tell people, for example, if you ever need to use your cell phone and you find yourself in a very expensive, in a very busy street, it is a good tip that you get inside the store. Make sure you get inside the store. You know, if you're going through shopping malls and whatnot, get inside the store. You pull up your phone, you look at what you need to look at, and then you go outside again. Just avoid using your cell phone out in the crowd, out in the open, if you have plenty of people around you, okay? You gotta understand different areas. Some neighborhoods are safer than others during the day and the nighttime. I cannot really tell you a whole lot about the South Zone, which is, the tourist part. Ipanema, Leblon, Copacabana. Those are tourist cities. You will find plenty of tourists. You will find plenty of pickpocketers as well. But again, don't be 100% fearful of going out, because if you're just staying inside your apartment while you're in Rio, then you're completely missing out the entire experience. Well, just know that some neighborhoods are safer than others. You just gotta know that's pretty much for everywhere, right? You just gotta know where you're walking. Make sure if you do have contacts in the city that you talk to them and ask for some recommendations. But for tourists, you may pretty much stay in the South Zone and the tourist zone, maybe downtown. Downtown during the daytime is really not too bad. It is going to be very busy though, because people do work there. It is a huge area, many tall buildings. You may see a whole lot of poverty as well. I still recommend you to not flash your items out there, not wear super expensive jewelry and whatnot. If you do have like an Apple Watch or a Samsung Watch, I think you may be able to get around. Because I have noticed a lot of people who actually wear the fake versions of Apple Watches and whatnot. So your Apple Watch might be okay. Just make sure you're not really, flashing whatever you got. Or if you, let's say, if you have an older version, you bring that older version with you during your visit. Okay. Let's talk about public transport versus ride-sharing apps. Weigh the risks and conveniences. So the public transport can be quite complicated. I have came back for about 3 months or so. I did come back again back in 2024, and I stayed for a whole year. And after being away for so long, for about 10 years, the city has changed for quite a bit. It hasn't been the very same much. So we do have the buses, we do have the BRTs, which we call it BRT, the VLT, which is a little light rail system, and we do have the subway and the trains as well. The subways and the trains will get you to the in-between the tourist areas, which is the most expensive areas of the city, all the way down to the lower, cheaper neighborhoods, more poor parts of the city. So the more you go north zone or west zone, the more you're gonna get to see. The subway can take you all the way down to the north part of the city, the capital, and the trains will get you all the way down to the west side, and will also get you to very, very back of the woods places. I'll call it back of the woods, but it's not back of the woods. It's just more poor neighborhoods out there. You do also have the apps that are Uber and 99, so you can always download them on your phone. And the only thing that I would recommend you guys, just make sure you sit on the back side of the car. Just avoid going on the front side, just so you're not really showing up whatever you got on your purse or on your backpack. I think it's just more private if you just sit on the backside. And also, especially if you're a woman, for women out there, I think it's a better safety measure just to sit on the backside instead of right beside the driver. Okay. We do have the favelas. They are not one big dangerous place. Many are vibrant communities, but you need local guidance to visit safely. That is very true. Favelas are pretty much, especially if you're staying in the tourist areas, The favelas are where the poor people stay. That's what we can call the slums, right? They do have plenty of social inequality, and very often, 99% of people are very honest. 99% of people are very good. They are actually used to having tourists up there. You may actually find places to stay inside the favela that can give you a little more of a vibe of what the actual day-to-day experience of someone who lives in Rio actually does have. But again, your miles may vary. I live in the west side of town, west side of the city, and it is not necessarily a favela, but it is what people in the United States will call it the projects. So those are all, smaller neighborhoods, smaller mini cities, and it's much more poor, but again, we get around, so it's all good. But just know that pretty much 90% of Rio de Janeiro, anywhere outside the South Zone and downtown, are made of more poor communities. So the only time you're actually gonna see a whole lot of gringos out there is pretty much down at the South Zone, which is Copacabana, Ipanema, Leblon, Barra, and whatnot. What to do if you encounter a high crime situation? Make sure you do not resist. You remain calm and prioritize your life over your possessions. As I just said, make sure that you do only take out with you what you are okay losing. So let's say you do have an expensive phone, make sure you take a phone that you're okay losing. If you have a credit card, make sure you get a credit card that is a low amount. Don't have your debit card out there. I would very much just go with the credit card. Just make sure you're okay with bringing outside things that you're okay losing. All right. So with all those pain points we just covered, naivete about crime, fear, not knowing how to protect yourself, misinformation about favelas. Just remember, people in the favelas are very honest. They are very good. We are poor, but we clean, okay? You may find things about, may hear things about the militias and the cartels. But for the most part, they are very good with tourists. They don't really mess with tourists a whole lot. They also do not allow to have actual crime, such as stealing from each other inside the communities. They are very good with that, thank God. But just know that those things you may, if you're not used to, depending, there are nomads out there that are used to see certain things, but if you're not used to seeing those things, just know that it is something that you may have to, you may get to see. All right. So now that we talked about the uncomfortable part of Rio, which is the safety, and we just got ourselves with some practical knowledge, we're going to talk about where you actually build your safe haven in this incredible city. Yay! So many of you guys have already noticed how the postcards and all the the good stuff only covers the south zone of the city, and each one of them got different personalities and price tags. So we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the practicalities of housing over here, where you can find your spot. This is our topic number 3. Rio neighborhoods have distinct personalities and price tags. Do you want a beach life, which is Copacabana, Ipanema? Would you like some bohemian vibe, which is Santa Teresa and Lapa? They are pretty much downtown or just like in the outskirts of downtown. Would you like something a little more family friendly in Barra, Barra da Tijuca? Barra is pretty much our highest income neighborhood. So we do have a whole lot of people that are high income out there. I haven't been there for years and years, but the roads are much broader. People there more often do have cars. It is a place with a more, I can say, financial power, as in Barra da Tijuca. Or would you like to have something a more local feel, which could be Botafogo and Flamengo? Botafogo and Flamengo are pretty much right beside Copacabana. It's right before Copacabana. They are the outskirts of downtown as well, but they are staying right by the coast, opposed to Lapa and Santa Teresa, which are pretty much closer to the mountains. Okay. Renting, make sure that you do understand the contracts, deposits, and finding a trustworthy real estate agent. Look for short-term versus long-term options. I would also recommend you to get a lawyer if you are deciding to stay here. If you're only staying for maybe, let's say, a month or so, I could also recommend Airbnbs opposed to hotels, because the hotels, you can only really get them all the way down to at the tourist areas. And really, depending on where you stay, of course, if you stay in Copacabana, Ipanema, Leblon, those will be the most expensive areas to get a hotel. But you also do have the option on getting a Airbnb, an apartment on those areas. Okay. I would say some places can get you roughly in between like $80 a day to maybe $100 a day. It really depends on how much you want to spend. And by the way, just to cover real quick, if you do have US dollars, the ratio is 1:5. So for every $1, you will get 5 reais down here. The cost of living varies wildly by location. As I said, the more expensive the area, the more and the worse it's gonna get. So be realistic about what you can afford. I can say that if you want to live simple, and let's say you have a friend down here, and I will say maybe 5,000 reais, so $1,000 will get you very comfortably for an entire month if you are staying with someone you know, or if you live with someone you know in this area. I'm just gonna put this thing over here on my dickle phone. It's just much easier to hold this. And yes, it looks like a dick. All right, apartment features. The importance of air conditioning, security, doorman cameras, and building conditions. Yes, apartments will most likely get you air conditioning. If you come here during the summer days, we do get temperatures that may get up to very close to the hundreds, sometimes a little more than that. Fahrenheit, 100 Fahrenheit. Celsius, we can be talking about anything ranging from the 30s all the way to 40 degrees Celsius. And it can get really hot if you don't have air conditioner. My house especially, we live in the hottest neighborhood in Rio, and summertime is a struggle for me, because since I used to live in the US, I used to live in a very cold part of the US, South Dakota, so I'm used to the cold. So for me, it has been just like a doozy. Oh God, it's been ridiculous. But yeah, air conditioning is the first thing you might want to have at home or at an apartment, just so you can be more comfortable at the time that you're gonna go to sleep. Otherwise, it gets really, really hot. Sometimes you can get 80, 90 degrees Celsius. Oh no, 80, 90 degrees Fahrenheit during the nighttime, during summertime. I'm enjoying fall. We're slowly going into winter time pretty soon here, so I'm loving it, but just know that. Building conditions, also just know that you may get old buildings, old apartments. Make sure you visit the area. Make sure you do plenty of research before ordering maybe an Airbnb or whatever. If you do have a contact in here, it gets way much easier, but have some preference on finding listings who got plenty of pictures and plenty of reviews on who you're dealing with. All right. And there will always be that challenge of finding something online versus being on the ground. I would again, depends on how long you're planning to stay. If you're gonna stay for maybe just a week or so, you just gotta do it online. But if you're gonna stay maybe over 2 weeks, you can always, do the first 2 weeks online, and then while you're on the ground, you can always look for something else, or you can talk to whoever's hosting the house, the Airbnb, or maybe the hotel you're staying with. All right, just so you can get a extension. But just do understand that summertime, from anywhere from December all the way until at the end of March, because understand that we have Carnival in February, maybe all February until maybe beginning of March. We do have a Carnival and the city just goes wild. So traveling will be more expensive, staying will be more expensive at this time of the year. It is our biggest event in the entire country. That's pretty much what Brazil is about, right? So we have just covered overpaying for rent, unsuitable neighborhoods, fraudulent listings, and not understanding rental agreements. Again, make sure you have a lawyer, Brazilian lawyer, who's gonna help you do all of those things. They're gonna help you look at all of them contracts. It shouldn't be too expensive, especially nowadays, because I can tell you that everybody's a lawyer nowadays. Something about our culture is that in order for you to be successful, at least, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, everybody wanted to be either a doctor or a lawyer. So many people have become lawyers, and guess what? Lawyers do not get a whole lot of money nowadays because there's a whole lot of competition now. I love it. So that you found your perfect little corner in Rio, or at least a good temporary spot. Ooh. But that roof over your head isn't free, is it? And neither is everything else. Let's get real about making money last in this city. Yay, I love this part. Topic number 4, money matters. Making your budget stretch and understanding local costs. All right, first talking point. Rio can be surprisingly expensive, especially in tourist areas, but locals know how to live more affordably. Yes, that is very much true. Again, I'm just gonna reiterate over here. If you do, you gotta understand the economics. All right, let's say you're coming from the United States, your ratio is 1:5 as of June 2026. So your ratio is 1:5. So for every dollar that you have, that will become 5 reais. All right, so anything you spend will be 5, or divided by 5, I guess. So you get a 100 reais trip on a Uber that will only cost you $20. If you get a 100 bucks meal in Rio, that's only gonna be $20. So there is plenty of leverage that you can use if you come with US dollars or euros. Euros, you may get a little extra, maybe 5.5 or maybe 1:6. But if you do come through different other countries, then you might want to check on that, okay? But yeah, the tourist areas, they will jack prices up big time. If you want to get food for your apartment, for your stay, I would recommend you do some grocery shopping. That will help you tremendously, because at least you know that you're paying just as much as everybody else. If you want to stay by the beaches, just know also that sometimes you can get scammed. Because things for gringos are always everything for gringos are more expensive. Y'all gotta know that, okay? So whenever you buy yourself a caipirinha, whenever you buy yourself something on the beach, make sure you look at the machine that, let's say the caipirinha costs you 20 reais. Just make sure they're not putting 200, all right? Because otherwise you just paid a $40 drink on the beach. That's not cool. I know. It sucks, but it happens. All right, breaking down monthly expenses: rent, utilities, food, transport, entertainment, and healthcare. I don't know rent. I don't know about rent so much because I live at my mom's house at the moment, but anywhere to 100 reais could get you. Sorry, 1,000 reais can get you to a low-class neighborhood. Okay, if you want to live, let's say downtown or anywhere else more expensive, just be ready to, spend some money. But I don't know, maybe $300 $400 a month for rent. I think that should be realistic. Also, let's see, utilities. We do spend about $300 in here, so I would say that is roughly $50 to $60 a month. Water, that's debatable because we don't pay for water where I live, but other places do pay for water. Food, we do spend about maybe in between 500 or 700 reais for two people, and we eat pretty well. Just know that rice and beans are our staple. So it's a filling kind of food, and it's healthy also. So many people eat that. Transport is more or less, it really depends. But again, if you're bringing your US dollars, you should be all right. Just make sure you get the Uber or the 99 app. Uber is usually safer-ish. But that should help you out. Transport, really, it's a toss. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Entertainment, there are many things to do in here. Let's say a caipirinha can get you about like $20 or so. So I would say that's roughly about $5. If you want to eat something on the street, it's about the same price, $20. So that's about, $5. Healthcare, we do have the public system. They will take you anytime. But it is really important that you may have your own that actually covers up for international visits and whatnot. Eating out versus cooking at home, the market experience, feiras versus supermarkets. We do have feiras, which are kind of like street markets, so people can get all sorts of, fruits, vegetables, fresh vegetables. The fruits here are way sweeter and more tasty than the ones that, let's say, you get at the North Hemisphere, because we actually grow all that stuff in here and you guys do not. So it is sweeter, it is tasty, and you're gonna love it. You can get all sorts of snacks also. The supermarkets, as I said, you're gonna be able to pay for things that are pretty much on price as what everybody else pays, but you know what I mean. And just make sure you're responsible while paying for stuff and don't get schemed out. Understanding the Brazilian currency, real, and exchange rates, as I said, it's $105 US or 106 euros. Banking in Brazil, opening an account, fees, and international transfers. It is really important for you to, as soon as you get here, try to get a CPF. If you can get a work visa, bring a work visa. If you can get a Nomad visa, try to research on that Nomad visas, or try to speak to specialists about if you actually want to live in Rio, right? About all of those things. Open up a local account so you can connect your international accounts. Dealing with cash is king in some situations, and rise of PIX. So Brazil does carry a national payment system called PIX, which is very much almost like carrying cash. But instead of having to carry cash with you up and down, you can connect that into your bank account and make instant transfers. Anything, it's almost like a debit transaction. So you can pretty much go anywhere from a supermarket all the way down to a street vendor. Everybody has access to that, and you can pay for anything with PIC. So that is pretty much our cash nowadays, and it's much more secure because of course your money is inside your bank account. It is on your phone. The only thing you gotta do is really open up the app, put on your passcodes and whatnot. And if somebody ever decides to steal your phone or make you make a transfer, just they're stupid, because you're gonna be able to find out that who are they, where the money went to, because there will be a track. So yeah, we just covered underestimating costs, getting scammed, difficulty with banking, not knowing how to save money. Yay! Now that you've got a handle on how much things cost and how to manage your money, the next logical step is figuring out how to get around this vast city without breaking the bank or losing your mind. Yay! All right, first talking point of getting around, navigating the city like a local. I don't know that part very well, but I'm gonna try to cover it as best as I can, because I am right now just as much as a tourist as somebody else, So I got the public transport options. We got the metro, which is a subway. We got the buses. We got the VLT, the light rail. The metro pros, it's super fast, it's super available. They pretty much work most part of the day. I think they open up very early. They close a little after midnight, or maybe at midnight. I'm not completely sure, but you can use that for most part of the day. It is very much safe, I can say that. The metro is extremely safe. They do have their own little security guys all over the place. Women actually have a special train just for them. So if you're a lady, you can always go to the pink one, which is connected, so you just get in the pink one inside the entire train thing. If you do actually decide to go through the actual train, we also do have a female train. The prices are a little bit higher. I would say the buses, you spend about $5 right now. They're capped at $5. I don't know when it's gonna go up next, most likely next January. But you do also have a little bus card that you can get integration, which maybe like you get 2 buses for the price of 1. Don't quote me on that, but you can also download the Jae app on your phone, and then you can use like a QR code, and with that QR code you can get inside the buses. Okay. The VLT is pretty much a extension between the BRT system. If you are walking downtown, you can always, literally just get into the station, just get in and out. Just make sure you pay when you go there. I got friends who never paid for them, but when I go, I do pay for it. Oh my gosh. We got the ride sharing apps. Uber and 99 are the essential and generally safe. Just know when to use them and how to use them. As I said earlier, just try to avoid flashing items. Just make sure you guys are always safe regardless of where you are. We got the taxis. They are less common, but still they are an option. I don't trust them nowadays. Me myself as a citizen, I always take Uber. Walking, it is great for exploring, but be mindful of hills and safety. I will say, unfortunately, street maintenance is not a great thing in Rio. I cannot say about, the South Zone, the tourist zone, they're probably a little bit better nowadays. And they're probably a little more well kept, but depending on where you stay, it's not that great. Traffic is a nightmare. Plan accordingly, especially during rush hour. That is very much true. Always look at Google Maps before you get out of the house. Understanding routes, maps, and using apps like Google Maps, just like I just said. That is the most reliable one for you guys. So we just covered getting lost, overpaying for transport, safety concerns on public transport, and traffic frustration. So yeah, just know that traffic is a nightmare, especially from early morning, like 6-7 in the morning until 10 a.m. and then the time to come back home. So essentially from 4 p.m. all the way till 7 p.m. it can be a nightmare, and it just gets even worse if it's rain season, where the city can get completely flooded, which is usually summertime. All right, so now that you know how to move on the city like a pro, get into your chosen neighborhood and managing your money, what about connections? Oh God, how do you go from being an outsider to truly belonging here? I can't tell you that one fully because I'm still figuring the fuck out. But all right. Topic number 6, making friends and fitting in, culture, language, and community. All right, guys. So first talking point is that Portuguese is non-negotiable. Okay, you gotta learn the basics. Por favor, obrigado, sim, não. It's just the basic stuff. It shows respect and open doors. The Cariocas will appreciate that. Just learn at least the basics. Just the basics. It's 2026, for God's sakes. People can use their phones to translate stuff. There's always a way, okay? But yeah, you will need Portuguese to get around here. Living in a big city, you're not gonna find a whole lot of people like me who can speak fluent English all day long. Depending if you stay at the touristy areas, you might get a better luck. Maybe they might have at least one person who speaks English in the establishments. But do not come here thinking that everybody will be able to speak English. Don't come here thinking that everybody will be able to give you information. That will not happen, all right? So if you don't know the basics, just know that you're gonna have a hard time. You can still have fun, but you're gonna have a hard time. Embracing the social culture. Brazilians are warm and outgoing. Don't be afraid to strike up conversations. That is very much true. We Brazilians are not afraid of touch. So that is something that, especially if you come from the United States, because something that I've learned in the US is that people are very much on their own bubbles. And we are very touchy-feely kind of people. So you may kind of get grossed out, depending, but we are very affectionate, and we are not afraid of touch. So just know that if you're a touchy-feely person, you might enjoy being here with people. Finding your own tribe, language, exchange groups, hobbies, sports, cultural events, community centers. You can always look at tourist groups on Facebook. I've already noticed that there are some out there where people do exchange informations. You can always, if you want to stay at a hostel, you can also stay at a hostel. There will be plenty of, people from other countries just trying to exchange culture and whatnot. If you stay nearby the tourist zone downtown, there will be plenty of museums, many places to go to, anything to learn about our culture. Dealing with cultural differences, timekeeping, personal space, directness. What might seem rude to you might be just normal here. As I just said, timekeeping, we are usually late for everything. Just know that if we say we're gonna be there by 6, we're gonna be there by 7 at the bare minimum. So if you do get just a tiny bit late, we're not gonna get mad about it. It's just a normal thing for us. Personal space, as I just said, we are very touchy-feely kind of people. We do kiss on the cheek when we get to meet acquaintances, so don't get grossed out. If that happens to you, we can be very direct on things. And my past partner also, poor guy, he once upon a time, one of my friends, at that time he had dyed his hair blonde and he was a very pale man. So this friend of mine called him albino, and next thing I know, he was crying in a corner, and I was like, oh, she didn't mean to offend you. But it just happens. Don't be sad about it. People will say that kind of stuff, but they are not meaning to hurt you or anything. We just make comments. We just make comments. That's what we do. We make fun of everything. That's also our Brazilian way of dealing with things, because we get fucked in the ass for so many years for so many reasons that the only time we get to have some fun is laughing about it. So don't take it personal. The importance of samba, football, and the family in Brazilian culture. That is very true. Samba is the most known, most heard music style in Rio. There is no escaping. There will be samba everywhere. Pagode. Just know that, especially in bohemian neighborhoods. Football, soccer is a big one, and in our culture also. A family, as I just said, you may see plenty of families spending time on a Sunday, just having a good time, having some beers, maybe barbecuing. That is the most completely normal, most common thing you may find about people in Rio. I don't know about other states, but that happens a lot in Rio. Okay. You may have to overcome some loneliness and isolation as an expat. I myself, even though I do have a family over here, very often I do feel alone because I don't think that people understand me at the very same level, because most people here have not lived outside of the country. Most people here have not seen how the world is outside of this environment. So you may feel a little bit lonely on expressing how life is, but also on the other hand, people will feel very drawn to you exactly for that. That may bring you many good and bad consequences, but it's generally good. For me, as somebody who's from here, the most I would hear is like, oh, can you bring me an iPhone next time you come back? Shit like that. But if you are just like an expat, an outsider, just know that generally we are very well receiving. We are very fond of outsiders, and we actually enjoy you guys because y'all are different, and we may completely make you like a mascot. I've seen so many gringos on Instagram who become completely covered with love by our people, and it's so good and it's so fun to watch. I did see one guy from Finland, and he ended up at the poorest neighborhood in Rio de Janeiro, and even still people love him. People just do the best for him. So we do love gringos, we do love foreigners. They're great here. Just know that you will be well received. We don't have this racism and whatnot. It's I mean, we do have racism, yes, but racism is not really allowed. So people can go to jail for that shit. Homophobia, people can go to jail for that shit. And you get the gist. So we have just covered a language barrier, cultural misunderstandings, loneliness, and difficulty integrating. All right, I'm gonna get a pause over here, and I'm back. Now we are going to talk about. All right, we were just talking about the language barrier, misunderstandings, loneliness, difficulty integrating. So you're now making friends, integrating, and speaking a little bit of Portuguese, and that's great. Yay! Let's address the elephant in the room that often fuels a dream or crushes it. How do you actually make a living out here? So we are at topic number 7, the job hunt. Work in paradise. Yay! All right, first talking point. Work visas are challenging to obtain. This is often the biggest hurdle. Do your research before you arrive. So just know that anytime you need to find work, you're gonna need to have a CPF, which is pretty much comparable to what we call our social security number. So if you're only visiting, it's all good. You stay for your 3 months and then you leave. I will say that it can be pretty easy to overstay here. I have seen many people who do that, and very often, I think, again, if you do come with a Nomad visa, the country is pretty much accepting for that kind of stuff. But do your own research before you do so. You're gonna also, I don't know, find a Brazilian boyfriend or girlfriend and have a little fun. By the way, I haven't said anything about how Brazilians actually talk to each other, like with foreigners. Just know that we are very loving people. The dating scene is a little bit different. As I said, we are very touchy-feeling people. So, job market reality, it's highly competitive, especially for foreigners without fluent Portuguese and specialized skills. So you can teach your language. You can most likely do those types of work. If you do have a skill for something else, I would also recommend remote work. If you work internationally, if you're receiving dollars, you're probably gonna have a good old time in here. But for me, even as a national, it has been pretty hard for me to find a job. But I have this difficulty because I do want to work for myself and not necessarily for others. So your miles may vary. Networking is key in Brazil. Who you know often matters more than what you know. So we do have, this culture that you need to talk to somebody who knows somebody else who can actually open up a door for you. So while you're here, maybe on your first visit, just start making some friends, just start talking to some people. Enjoy your, 3 months that you spend here. Maybe you come back to your country for a little bit just so you can do a little extra planning. And then when you finally decide to move down here, at least you're gonna have a little more contacts. You're gonna have more ways to actually get started and put your foot down on whatever you need to start, right? But working is really highly competitive. Rio de Janeiro is a giant city. We got 6 million people in here. So you can only imagine. And it's 6 million people in a very small area. Rio is one of our smallest states in Brazil, and you're gonna feel like it's a bit crowded in here. Yeah, it can be very busy, very noisy, but that's every big city out there, right? It's always very noisy. But again, if you want to, and the fact that you are a foreigner, it may actually be easier for you to get along with people because people will be drawn to you. People will be curious about you. So just make sure at least get the language figured out. If you do get the language figured out, you will find something to do in here. Because a huge comparison to the United States, at least that I have, is that in the US, if you ever want to do any non-formal work, you would have to, for example, I wanted to make brigadeiros, which are little sweets, chocolate sweets that are national. It's almost like a national dish. You should always try it. Also try it. It's really easy to make. It's made with condensed milk, cocoa powder, and that's about it. You can always use some chocolate sprinkles, but that's for another video. I'm just giving you some contacts over here that I wanted to make those little sweet dishes in the US, just to sell it for people or outside and whatnot. But guess what? In order to do those things in the US, you gotta have a food license and whatnot, especially at the place where I was living, where street vendors are not necessarily very much free and allowed to do their own free markets. So in Brazil, that is way easier to do. You can literally just bake something at home, put it in a Tupperware, and just go outside and start screaming at the top of your lungs how much you want it for whatever you're cooking. All right. So if you want to find a way in Brazil, there is a way. You just got to be creative. That's all you got to do. Industries that are more open to foreigners will be tourism, where you can actually communicate with other tourists, of course. Tech, international companies, and English teaching. English will be pretty much the second language. Not a whole lot of people know English over here. In order to get a good job, we do often have this concept that you need to have at least a second language to do so, on top of any specialization that you might have, but that is for citizens. It's just a general concept that we have. If you want to have a good job, you got to have at least English. If you don't have English, guess what? You're gonna live at the bottom of the barrel. Freelancing and remote work, that can be a viable option if you do have clients outside of Brazil. You can be like me, start making YouTube videos, talking to people from outside, and maybe see what happens. That's what I'm doing pretty much over here. I'm just recording this video to help other people out there who are looking into coming to Brazil. I'm not really setting up a whole niche in my channel, but again, that comes with time. So you gotta understand the local employment laws and salary expectations. Just so you know, our salary is roughly about $300, which if you multiply by 5, it's roughly about 1,500, 1,600 reais. That is our minimum wage. Is it livable? Is it easy? No, it is not. People do struggle. You got to understand that people here are trying to make ends meet constantly. We do try to make the best as we can with the little that we got. So we can also come back to that little spot where I was talking about not boast your items. Don't come here just trying to show off. That might get you a bad deal. But you know what I mean. People are trying to make ends meet. So just know that the minimum salary is roughly about $300 a month, and that's about it. So we just covered the visa difficulties. You can always, marry somebody, or you can find a job over here. Work visas are really not popular, but I'm not really the specialist on that kind of stuff because I am a citizen of Brazil. Limited job opportunities. We spoke about wage expectations and not understanding the local hiring process. Again, if you're coming down here, I always recommending having a lawyer. Have a lawyer, have somebody that knows how the legal system works, or at the very least, have somebody of trust who is from here that knows how things work, so they can help you navigate throughout the system. It is very bureaucratic, yes. But once you get that stuff figured out, I think it gets better. Now let's get to the next topic, the last one. Now that you've navigated the job market and you're working remotely, fantastic, yay. But living in any country, especially a new one, isn't just about income and social life. There are essential practicalities that impact your well-being, both physically and legally. All right, topic number 8 is healthcare and bureaucracy, the nitty-gritty of daily life. Our first talking point over here is our healthcare system. We do have universal healthcare, the SUS, Sistema Único de Saúde, which is pretty much our public system. You can go anywhere that within that public system, and you will be helped for free, completely free. Many times they do have medications to help you out, but again, it is very limited. It is very full because not a whole lot of people can actually afford private healthcare system. We also do have the private, but understand that the quality between them will be completely different. It will really depend on where you go to. All I can say is that if you, let's say, need a surgery and operation, it will be, we do have good quality stuff, and services are often cheaper here than in other countries and other places in the Western world. But just know that at least if you do receive in dollars, if you do pay in dollars, you will have a little extra advantage compared to the people who are citizens and have been living here for many years. Okay, but it is very abundant. I'm not gonna say it's fast, at least for the public system. It's not fast by any means, but it does work when you need it. Okay. Health insurance, it can be absolutely crucial for expats. Don't go without it if you're coming to visit, right? And if you do have an international coverage, even better. Just make sure you get that stuff figured out. We do have the pharmacies that are easily accessible and often have staff who can advise on minor ailments. They will help you out. I would say that access to prescriptions are way easier compared to, let's say, the United States. Anything that is not over the counter in the United States that you need to get a prescription, you need to go through a doctor or pay for a consultation and whatnot. Brazil, it is much easier. But if we are talking about, let's say, mental health counselors, mental health doctors, you will spend a little money. Yes, the one I go to in my poor neighborhood of Bangu, I pay like $250, 250 reais. That is roughly $50 for a consultation, and then of course you gotta pay for extra for medications and whatnot. But again, if you're spending, I don't know, $1,000, what is $50 for a consultation that you may spend maybe a couple months, right? We do have dentists and specialists. They're generally good quality and often more affordable than in some Western countries. As I just said, services are way cheaper over here. Many people may pay £1,000 or $1,000 just to get a tooth out, and with $1,000, you can do an entire operation on your damn mouth. And so come down to Brazil to do some operations, and you're gonna love it. And you're still gonna have a vacation. Bureaucracy is slow, complex, and requires patience. Yes, it does. But of course, embrace the jeitinho brasileiro, which is the Brazilian way, of finding creative solutions to a problem. We do have that. It's in our culture. We always, as I said, we always find a way. It don't matter what happens. We always find a way to fix a problem. You're gonna need your CPF, which is your tax ID, and your CRNM, your foreigner registration card. I don't know about that one because I am a citizen of Brazil. I was born and raised here, so I don't know about that one. I'm sorry, guys. That will be something that you will need to research about with another creators, but If anybody else would like to drop a comment about it, you can always do so to help other people who may be watching this. Dealing with local offices, appointments, and long queues, you should know that it can be very, very hard to take care of those issues, those type of things, and but it's really not impossible. But it's just something that, Brazilians love queues, and you should love queues too to come down here. But just know that things take a little time to get figured out in here, but so does in the US. Many times I had to spend a whole month waiting for a consultation while I was in the US, so I don't think it will be a whole lot of difference for a whole lot of people out there. So yeah, we just covered access to quality healthcare, navigating complex bureaucracy, frustration with official processes, and not having necessary documents. So yeah, get yourself a CPF, okay? CPF. You will need that to do anything, to open up a bank account, to get a job, to anything. That is our tax ID. All right. So we have just covered all of those topics for you today. For whoever's watching this video until the end, I really want to thank you so much for doing so. Please don't forget to leave me a comment on what did you think about this little guide, this little podcast thing. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel. Things that you need to really think about before coming to Brazil. Just understand that it is much more than postcards. It is an entire lifestyle. We do have many other things, the parties, the beach culture. We have the warm people. This is that's the number one. Safety. Remember, safety always. Don't be boasting your items. Don't be showing off. If you decide to look up on your phone, get inside a little store, take a look at it, and then go back to your, normal day. You will need to find a little spot. Don't get scammed, of course. Money matters. You're gonna need to learn how to budget. Just remember, the dollar ratio is 1:5. The euro is 1:6, roughly. It really depends because the value goes up and down all the time. Getting around, you have the bus, you have Uber, you have 99. And they're really not too bad if you're paying with your dollars in here. So your acquisition power is way higher than the regular people. You can easily just go up and down the city with the Uber. Making friends and fitting in. We are very welcoming to foreigners. We love foreigners. People will be drawn to you. People will be all over you because you're a foreigner. The good and the bad, but that is also a topic that we can cover later down the road. It will really depend on how this will, make any noise out on the YouTube's algorithm. I hope it does. The job hunt, we already spoke about that too. Just remember, jobs are not impossible, but if you do have a skill, if you can speak English, you can always find a job. But speaking Portuguese will be number one. And healthcare, that was our last topic with bureaucracy. It is possible to have free healthcare. Yes, it is. And you can be more than happy here. You just gotta want it, The only thing you may really miss from outside is just our electronics are extremely expensive. It's like 10x more expensive. But other than that, life is great down here if you know how to live life, if you learn how to live life. All right. With that said, I'm gonna close this one out. Again, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much.